everyone, so I'm pulling these questions from my videos, some other videos that I've watched, and from some Facebook groups. So the first question says, hi, I currently have the Amex Gold Card but also want to get the Delta Gold or Platinum Card. Should I keep both cards or should I keep one? And will I be able to transfer all my Amex points I currently have with the new card? So I personally have the personal Amex Gold Card and the business Delta Gold Card. I only have the business Delta Gold Card because I keep my business expenses and purchases separate from my personal purchases. However, I wouldn't say that I personally need both, and I wouldn't necessarily say that you need both either. However, the annual fee is free for your first year and very low overall, and there are some really good benefits that make the card worth having. For example, you get your first checked bag free. If you check a bag at least 4 times a year, you'll basically be breaking even. But if you are someone who never checks a bag like me, there are other ways that you can get value from this card. One way is with the Take 15 discount you get by having the card. So if you go to delta.com right now and search for a flight in miles, you will see the standard price. If you log into your account once you have this card, you will see a discount of 15% off all flights. If you travel 3 to 4 times a year, you can save between 12,000 to 15,000 miles, which is worth way more than $100. So again, pretty much breaking even, and obviously if you travel more than 3 to 4 times a year, you'll save even more points with the 15% discount. You also get 20% off in-flight purchases and a $100 Delta credit each year that you spend $10,000 in a single calendar year. The flight credit sounds cool in theory, but since you already have the Amex Gold Card, you're earning 2 more points per dollar on all the same categories except for Delta purchases. So it doesn't really make sense for you to sacrifice an extra 2 points per dollar just for a $100 Delta credit. So I think if you check a bag at least 3 to 4 times a year on Delta, or you fly often enough to where you'll be saving 15,000 miles or more per year just by having the 15% off discount, I think it would be worth you getting the card. But if not, I don't think this is a card you should lose sleep over. The other alternative this person mentioned was the Amex Platinum Card, and I feel like this is a card you pair with the Amex Gold Card when you want to elevate your travel experience. So if you're someone who regularly stays at hotels in either FHR or the Hotel Collection, you get the $200 hotel credit, $200 airline credit, $189 clear credit, Hilton Gold status, and of course all the other credits. If both the Amex Platinum and Delta Gold are great choices for your lifestyle, I personally would choose the Amex Platinum, especially because the multipliers repeat on the Delta Gold card but with less miles. And with the Platinum card, you'd be earning more on flights and hotels than with your Amex Gold card. The last part of the question is, will I be able to transfer all of my Amex points I currently have to the new card? So if you get the Delta Gold card, you will be able to transfer your Amex points over, except you will have to pay taxes. That's no matter what. Anytime you transfer out your Amex points, unless it's internationally, I believe, then you're going to have to pay taxes on that. So the answer is yes, but with taxes. And if you apply for the Amex Platinum card, it will be connected to your Amex Gold card and it will share one pool of points. All the points you earn across any MR earning card goes into one pool of points. As long as you keep at least one of those cards open, you won't lose any of your Amex points. But if you happen to close all of your cards that earn MR points, you will lose all of your Amex points. The next person asked, hello, I've been thinking about getting my gold card for a while based on the perks, but I want to try to raise my credit score a little more. Right now, all my credit scores are in the low mid 700s. Do you all think I should go ahead and apply with this invitation I received, or wait until I increase to the high 700s to 800? I've heard that Amex has approved people for the Amex Gold Card with scores under 700, and I honestly think that mid 700s is fine. I've also heard, and this is not directly from Amex, just things that I've heard from multiple different people. I've heard that Amex, if your score is low, they consider other factors like your income, and that Amex is one of the lenders that looks at your entire application and considers your approval based on many different factors. You can also see if you're pre-approved before you even apply for the card, which won't affect your credit score. So if you're not sure if your mid 700 score or whatever score you have is high enough for the Amex Gold card, you can go right to americanexpress.com and see if you are pre-approved before you apply. My score was a 752 when I applied for my Amex Gold card. My score, I believe, was under 700 when I applied for my first Amex card, which was the business Delta Gold card that we talked about earlier. And I have never received a hard inquiry for any of my business credit cards with them, not even the first one, which is really, really nice. So this next question really isn't a question, it's more of a statement, and it's something that someone left under one of my videos. And it says, Amex Gold is best suited for families, those with a spouse and kids, or spouse, kids, elderly parents living in a single home. then it makes sense for groceries and dining. No annual fee cards with good multipliers and 2%/2x point cards brings more value for single low budget travelers. And I personally kind of disagree with this. I wouldn't make that generalization of saying the Amex Gold Card is best suited for families. I would say after having the Amex Gold Card for almost a year that what I've learned and what I've kind of seen is that the Amex Gold Card is best suited for someone who spends a lot of money, with majority of it being on food or groceries. Because in theory, families do spend more on groceries or dining than a single person. However, because a lot of the time families are trying to save money on the cost of food, because especially now it's so expensive, they shop at places like Walmart, BJ's, Costco, where they're not even earning 4 points per dollar on the purchases. So when you look at that, I don't know if the Amex Gold Card would make sense for those types of families. It's a really tricky thing to try and calculate because everybody's spending and where they spend is so different. I always recommend everybody to look at their statements over the last 12 months when you're thinking about applying for a new card. That way you can see exactly what you spent, so you're not playing a guessing game, and you can see the categories that you spent money in. Because a lot of the time you think, oh, I spend a lot of money here or I spend a lot of money there. But when you look at the bigger picture, you might find that you spend more money on one other single thing, and that means that you could probably benefit from a whole different card. And even though it's different for every person, I will give you guys some insight on how many points and what I spent over the 11 months that I've had my gold card. So within the 11 months that I've had my Amex Gold Card, I have spent just under $26,000 in 11 months and earned about 60,000 points. And that's 60,000 points just with my spending. My welcome bonus was 100,000 points, and then I had 100,000 points in referrals as well. So we're looking at a little bit under 300,000 points for the year. But I only really want to look at my spending because that's really the only thing that's sustainable. I will never get another welcome bonus with the card. I do think I'm going to continue to get referrals, but I just only want to focus on my spending because the average person isn't earning 100,000 points in referrals every single year. I don't have kids and I really don't buy anything for anyone other than myself. The majority of what I spend money on during this 11 months is going to be different for the next year. But in the past 11 months, the majority of what I spent money on was travel and just miscellaneous purchases that I'm never going to earn extra points on unless I got something like the Capital One Venture Card. So with this 60,000 points, I could take about 3 round trips to different places, both domestic and international. So $250 a year for 3 round trips, I think is a pretty good deal, especially when one of the trips I took this year was about 20,000 points, but the cash ticket was over $2,000. And as far as the low budget traveler part of this person's comment, I don't think the type of traveler you are matters when you look at the Amex Gold Card, because most people get the Amex Gold Card just to earn points. Most people overlook the hotel collection perk and mostly just focus on getting the best redemptions they can. This is what I believe to be true. I'm not saying this is a fact or that there's a study on it. This is just what I think. I think we can start the conversation about what card would be best for a low budget traveler if you want to compare cards like the Amex Green Card and the Amex Platinum Card. Getting a card that only gives you 2 points per dollar when you spend $800 a month on food or dining for a family of 4 isn't really the best option in my opinion. You'd be sacrificing about 20,000 points per year just to save about $100 on annual fees. And like I said, I got a round trip flight for 20,000 points when the cash ticket was over $2,000. So just think about that. And the last question is, does anyone know if I didn't receive a limit on the gold card upon approval, is it unlimited? So technically with the Amex Gold Card, you do not have a spending limit, but you do have a pay over time limit, and that limit will be given to you once you get your card in the mail. Your limit will depend on your income and other factors that Amex uses to determine what kind of limit they want to give you. Mine was $35,000, but I do know someone else that applied for the Amex Gold Card and their limit was $10,000. So in theory, I could spend $35,000 in 1 month and either pay it off or make minimum payments on it. You also have the ability to turn on the pay over time feature on your Amex Gold Card, which you can do in your Amex settings. That gives you the opportunity to use your Gold Card as either a charge card or a credit card. Also, if you do have the pay over time feature enabled, you still have the option to pay off your card in full each month. So back to the question about your limit, you know that you don't have one, but you do have a pay over time limit. If I were to spend $35,000, it could be in a month or over the course of a few months, I'm still technically supposed to be able to spend more than that. However, any amount that I spend over that $35,000 is due in full each month. So you can go over your pay over time limit. That difference is just due in full each month. And the limits on charge cards are usually higher than that of credit cards. I had 2 personal cards before applying for my Amex Gold Card, one Discover card with a limit of $2,700 and one Sephora card with a limit of $1,000. So to go from $2,700 to $35,000 is kind of crazy. Just make sure whatever your limit is, you don't get yourself into trouble. It's never going to be worth it. That's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.